Obviously, I'm a Yankees fan, so I'd love to see him.
It's almost like legacy of like the NFL versus.
But I definitely think that Baker could be a really good player for the Panthers moving forward.
Did I say Oreos?
There's a lot of questions I have about Mahomes. Looks like a kid playing Madden.
Turning point in the game is the 13-second drive.
They play very hard, even though they're terrible.
He's a good pick. For sure. He's going to be a good player. But I can't argue against the Jamar Chase pick.
They made moves saying we're going to win this year, at least get into the playoffs.
I'm going with my guy, Corey Seager. So glad.
What's good, y'all? My name is Austin Jarman, and I play rugby for the University of Notre Dame. And you're listening to The Outsider's Opinion with Austin and Kevin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NBA Opinions of the Week. It took me a second there. I'm joined by the man that has been seen as the GM of this podcast, but can also be seen as the president of basketball operations or any other name that you can see. But we are ranking the people that make the decisions, and this person contributes and makes a lot of the scheduling decisions and also decisions on this podcast. Austin.
I don't know if I give myself that much credit, Kevin, but I do appreciate the notion.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the work you do, and we had to say some words. And now we're doing top 10 NBA GMs because we're in the middle of the dog days of August, and we're working on NBA offseason videos. This one should be fun. Another thing is, I feel you and I would love to be in an organization any of these guys are included in, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
We'll see if James Harden would like to be included on that. We'll see. But let's get right into it. Who do you have at 10?
So the 10th best GM at the moment, and this is because of trades I think he's made that I do enjoy. And we'll see how they work out this year, and this upcoming season is definitely a big year for him, and it's Brad Stevens. Stevens, I thought, was a pretty good head coach, and he's done well as a GM. I do like the KP trade. You have to switch it up. And if this works out, we definitely could see him rising up the rankings and him getting that elusive NBA title.
Yeah, that's something here. So my number 10 is Nico Harrison. I think he had it would be a perfect offseason if they got a stopgap center, a guy that can play right now at center position at a high level. I don't believe Derek Lively is that yet. I think in 2 years he could be, and I hope that. But everything else, I think he really fixed a lot of issues. He's got some great defensive players. I think he killed it at the draft, especially with just getting the 10th pick. I was against tanking, but I'm like, well, I didn't realize Nico could cook that much with just the 10th pick in the draft. I really love the Omax deal. That's probably, I want to say it's overrated. It might become overrated in a few years, but I think getting Omax and getting Rashawn Holmes, I'm not sure what Rashawn Holmes will be, but I'm really hyped in Omax. And then we'll see what else he does. I think if he gets like a Clint Capella or maybe Zubac, I think that really makes it a great season. And he also re-signed Kyrie. But he's made some other trades where it's kind of worked out. The Kyrie trade didn't work out, but he was able to get Kyrie to resign. So that's it. But I think he's borderline top 10 because we have to see what happens.
Who's your 9?
My 9 is Justin Zanuck and Danny Ainge. I don't know which one really makes the decisions because I thought Danny Ainge wasn't going to be a GM anymore. So that's why.
Yeah, he's not. He's like the president of basketball operations, I believe.
Yeah. So I think I viewed the guy. So I guess it's Justin Zanuck or Zanuck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm really impressed with what they did last year. That Lauri Markkanen position trade worked out great since they took over to the team. The Donovan Mitchell trade, that was from that's how they got Lauri Markkanen. And then you also have Walker Kessler just stepping in and probably having an incredible rookie season. And replacing that Rudy Gobert trade, which looks terrible. It's probably even worse than terrible. I just can't think of a word like that. But I think it's really impressive. I just need to see what they do more in the long run.
My number 9 is Trent Redden. He is the GM for the Clippers. The Clippers are a really weird team because I want to rate him higher, but because of injuries, it really prevented them from winning games. But I do have him on this list because I do think he puts a great team on the court. It's just, can that team remain healthy is really the question that comes to mind whenever I think of the Clippers.
Yeah, I did consider the Clippers, but it's just weird given the injuries. I really did love that team a few years ago. Really high on them. But yeah, that's a good one. What's your 8?
My 8's Nico Harrison. I am very impressed by the trades that he pulled off this offseason. And again, you can put a great team on the court, they have to play well. And that's where I really can separate great GMs from uh, usually what a great coach would be. Coaches can really impact a lot more in game and how they play. But if I'm getting you the best players and the team still loses, that's not on the GM.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. I really like that. My 8 is James Jones. The Suns, they had a rough year, but he really has, I think, getting KD and then, of course, getting Bradley Beal, I think he should be recognized for that. You still have DeAndre Ayton, but the Chris Paul trade and that roster when they went to the finals, I think he's done a really good job, and I understand the KD move. I don't like it, but I still think that's pretty good to add another incredible player, and we'll have to see what he does this year. He could be higher or lower depending on what happens next year.
Who's your next guy?
My next guy is Monte McNair for the Kings. That we talked about the Halliburton Sponis trade. I think that really has worked out. He also has De'Aaron Fox, Davion Mitchell. To me, he's relatively new at this GM spot, but what he did with the Kings, I think, really worked out. Even though they gave up a first-round pick for Omax, I think they're that cleared up cap room for them, and Richaun Holmes wasn't helping this team, and they got someone that could help him or retain someone that could help him. That's Harrison Barnes. So overall, I think he's done a good job building this team. It's just, can they continue to build what they did last year?
Okay. My next guy is John Horst at 7. He's the Bucks GM. Some people may expect him to be a little bit higher, but I do think a big part of it is how good Giannis is. This guy did not draft Giannis. Giannis was a gift from the heavens for this Bucks organization. But I do think that the Drew Holiday trade, getting Brook Lopez, both of which he did, were great moves. And I do think that he's really helped this Bucks team excel.
He's a good one. He is not on my list. I don't really like how the roster is constructed now, but overall, what you said, he's done a great job.
Yeah. My 6 is Justin Zanuck. You said it earlier. What the Jazz have done has really impressed me. Their ability to be almost a playoff team, or play-in team, I should say, last year was exceptional. The trade they made for Lauri Markkanen, trading away Donovan Mitchell, obviously, it's worked out a lot better than a lot of people would have expected. So I give him a lot of credit.
Yeah, I agree with you there. My next guy is Sean Marks. I think you have to give him credit for getting Kyrie, KD, and then James Harden, but how that really didn't work out, I think, has impacted him. But I give him credit for what he got back. I think he got a steal in what he got in the Mavs Kyrie trade. That was a lot more I would have given up for him at that time, but still, KD as well. I think they recouped a lot of those picks. Same thing with the James Harden trade, even though Ben Simmons has not worked out. I think I can trust Sean Marks with this team and those picks because he's gotten Cam Thomas. He's gotten a Nick Claxton, who's really developed into a nice center. And then you also have tradable pieces, and you also got, of course, Malik? No, it's not Malik. The Suns player that's been going off. Why am I forgetting his name?
This Mikal Bridges?
Yeah, Mikal Bridges. Okay. Yeah, my bad. But Mikal Bridges has gone off, and he also has tradable pieces, I think, in Dorian Finney-Smith and other 3-and-D wings. So, yeah, that's why he's in He's 5 right now, but he's on the borderline just given what happened with that James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and KD fiasco.
Who's your 6?
Oh, or is he? So my 6 was Monte McNair,
Oh, okay.
and then I go Sean Marks.
Okay. My 5 is Colby Altman. He is the Cavs GM. The Cavs have really built a very, very competitive team in a short time after losing LeBron, and that's a tough thing to do. He came in 2017 after they had won the title, heading into I guess it was after they lost their 16-17 title. So Kyrie wasn't on the team anymore, and he was on a team that had LeBron for his last season and then moved off of LeBron, and has gotten that team back to being competitive. Drafting Evan Mobley, trading for Jared Allen, trading for Donovan Mitchell, making the decisions that he's made, I've been very impressed with.
Yeah, he's a good pick. I just didn't put him on my list. My bad. Sean Marks is my 6. I miscounted. So the Cavs GM is your 5.
Yeah.
Okay. My 5 is Sam Presti for OKC. He's probably the most tenured guy. No, he's not. He's one of the most tenured guys on my list, but he's done a really great job with OKC getting a lot of those picks. He's still a huge treasure chest of picks, but he's got shy in that Paul George, Russell, and then the Russell Westbrook trade where they netted Chris Paul, which just turned into more riches, and they were a pretty good team when they got Chris Paul. Just a lot of young guys, and then we'll have to see how Chet develops. But even if he misses, he can go get someone else with that treasure chest of picks. So yeah. How are you?
I will say quickly that Sam Presti is the most tenured GM in the league. So
okay, really?
Yeah.
I thought. Oh, how long has he been there?
Since 2007.
Really? So more than Pat Riley?
Pat Riley's not a GM.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, yeah. I think it's always confusing president and GM.
Yeah, technically speaking, Andy Ellisberg is the GM for the Heat.
Gotcha. But yeah, and I'm pretty sure, isn't Nico like the president or no?
No, he's a GM.
Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah, I view the GM as just a guy that's making the decisions. So that's why I have some other guys on this list too that relatively aren't the exact GM, but I feel they're the guys that execute the trades.
Yeah, let me quickly find out how long that he was the head coach of the Heat in 2008, so he couldn't have been there.
Okay, so it had to be 2009, which still, okay, so Sam Presti is.
Yeah, so on April 28th, 2008, Riley announced that he would step down as head coach for our remaining team president. So in 2000, yeah.
Okay. So it's spoiler alert, Pat Riley is on my list, but yeah, Sam Presti still relieves him, but Sam Presti, of course, has done a great job with that team. I just really like how he's changed overall.
Yeah. Who's your next guy?
My 4 is Rob Pelinka. Some may say he's a little bit too high. I know LeBron's there in AD, but to me, it's what he did at the trade deadline, which is incredible. Even though Russell Westbrook was better on the Clippers, to me, Russell Westbrook's stock was not high enough for the players they got back that really helped them catapult to the Western Conference Finals, even though they got swept. I like what they did this year. There's been some bad moments. I think they regret losing Alex Caruso, but overall, this past year, I think has really launched him into this top 5. Even with LeBron, I like the surrounding pieces around LeBron that he's helped put there.
Yeah, I wanted to put Pelinka in my top 10. It's just the whole, like you mentioned, the LeBron thing. I think GMs are very hard to rate because you have to really determine how much is them and how much is other people. But I'll move on to my next guy. So my number 4 is James Jones. For many of the reasons you mentioned, he puts a great team on the court. You have to win. If he doesn't win, that's on you as either a coach or a player. But he's made a lot of great moves. Where did you have him?
So he was 7, or he was 8.
8. Okay. My number 3 is Calvin Booth. He's the GM for the Nuggets. The way he has built that team is extremely, extremely impressive. I really can't fathom how he got this team to where he did. He took over in 2020. He made the Aaron Gordon trade. He's made a lot of other trades to help the Nuggets become a true contender, making moves that were necessary. And I definitely think that he's up there after this past season with the success that the Nuggets have had.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement with you because he's my number 3 as well. I know you have Jokic, but it's the surrounding pieces. He got Bruce Brown on a cheap contract. You have Christian Brown. You also have, I think, what he's done with getting guys like you mentioned, Aaron Gordon, but also really keeping this team. He's kept Michael Porter Jr. He's kept that core that I guess Michael Porter Jr., you can debate on if he's part of the core or Aaron Gordon, but keeping Jokic, keeping Jamal Murray, and trusting with those injuries that works out, and just doing trades to me, because the Monte Morris trade to the Wizards really helped with Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who had a huge steal at the end to clinch the series. Getting those surrounding pieces around your superstar, the toughest thing is probably getting a superstar, keeping the superstar, but then it's building around that superstar. Just look at the Mavs.
Yeah, that's a great point. Who's your 2?
My 2 is Pat Riley. No, he's not exactly a GM, but just the guys that just come out of nowhere for this team and just really excel with this Heat team, I think is huge props. And they've gone to the finals multiple times. You, of course, have the earlier Heat when they went to the championship, but I'm thinking recently, just what they've done in, like, I can't even name the players, but Duncan Robinson came out of nowhere. You also have the guys that they lost, and then of course you have Jimmy Butler, you have Bam Adebayo, but just those surrounding pieces to me, because that's what's one of the hardest things with the GM. You keep the core guys, but how do you change the guys around them and still have a productive team? And I feel he's done that.
Yeah, I didn't have Pat Riley on my list because technically speaking, he is not a GM. I also didn't have Andy Ellisberg because I think Pat Riley made most of those moves. But I also give a lot of credit to Eric Spoelstra. His ability to coach all the players that he's given is remarkable. My number 2 is...
Yeah.
Say again?
Yeah, I was about to go. You're 2 and 1.
Okay. My 2 is Zach Kleiman. He is the GM for the Grizzlies. What the Grizzlies have done, the trades they've made, he's put a tremendous team on the court. They really had to tear it down after the grit and grind. Grizzlies all retired or got traded away. And his ability to make all the moves that he's made, draft all the guys he's drafted. Desmond Bane, extremely unlikely player to be as good as he was for a lot of people, but he saw the potential in him. Drafting Ja, obviously, even though he's had off the court issues as a player, Ja was worth that pick. The Grizzlies are a very talented team. As long as they can keep it together, I love what he's done building the organization up. My number 1 is Sam Presti. All the trades he's made, all the teams he's been able to build have always been good, have always exceeded expectations, except for those years with KD, Russ, and Harden that lost in the finals. But can you really expect a team, you put them on the court and they lose, you really can't expect the team to lose when you have that many great players. And then obviously the year they blew a 3-1 lead in 2016 against the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals, he did everything possible to put the best team on the court. That team has to not lose. They have to not choke. And I don't hold that against him.
Yeah, the Grizzlies GM is a really good one. He should be in my top 10. I don't know why I didn't think of him, because I really love that roster. And my number 1 is the guy you had at 10, Brad Stevens. To me, I remember not liking this move, but I really love the roster. Even though I don't like the KP move, like you said, you understand it. But also, like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown are already there, but I just feel this team had those guys, and then when he got in, he brought in Al Horford, and then believe they went to that. That's not when, or yeah, they did go to the finals when they got Al Horford back, right?
Say it again.
When they traded for Al Horford, did they go to the finals that first year?
No,
Okay, so it was the second year. Got it.
I think it. I will fact check that extremely quickly, but I believe it was his second year after getting traded back. And oh no, it was his first year
Okay,
back.
his
You're
first.
right. You were right.
And it just seemed I'm like, why is he going for familiar faces? But it seems like he saw something that this team needed, and it worked. And they got to the finals and came really close. This year they struggled, but I like the trades they've done. Well, outside of the KP trade, but I really love that roster, and he kind of developed it and brought it along. So that's why he gets my top list. He could definitely fall though. This list, I really thought about putting Calvin Booth at number one because I feel he's the champion, but he didn't draft Jokic, which kept him from number one.
Yeah, I think, like I said earlier, GMs are very hard to rate, but I think all the guys we had on our list are very good.
Yeah, I definitely want him. Definitely one of those guys on my list would really help any team I'm believing in, especially the Grizzlies GM. That's going to go in my honorable mention. If I could redo it, he'd be in my top 10 because I really love that roster, similar to the Celtics. But yeah, that's all we got. Let us know what you think in the comments on our socials. And give us a like, hit that bell, subscribe for notifications, and we appreciate you listening to Outsiders Opinions.